The images you are about to see are real. Viewer discretion is advised.
That thing has sharp teeth, dude.
How'd you like to have one of these coming at you? Put a little fur on it, a bunch of muscle. Ouch. Well, a lot of folks are saying that 10 millimeter is a great protection arm cartridge for bear attacks. But what about the 45? You know, the 45 ACP in an auto-loading handgun is a nice compact package. It's a big bullet. Why isn't it the preferred choice? You've got a lot of interest in all of this stuff. You're an outfitter, a guide. You want to protect yourself and your clients from bear attacks.
Especially after having my hit in that bear. It
Yeah,
really makes me
scared you, didn't it? What's your assessment of these? Why is one better than the other, or isn't it?
Yes, so both of these cartridges were not originally designed to be bear defense guns. No, the 45 ACP was designed in 1904 as a replacement for the 38 Long Colt because people were complaining in the military that the 38 Long Colt did not have enough stopping power. Where the 10mm was built for law enforcement in the early 1980s as a replacement for the 9mm, really, or even the 45 ACP because they wanted kind of an in-between caliber that had higher knockdown power because back then they didn't have great bullets for the 9mm too. And it really came into play with the FBI after that big 1986 shootout in Miami, Florida. But these have kind of both, I would say the 45 is almost leaning out in some ways, but even though the 45 is what I prefer to carry in the mountains.
You do?
I do actually carry the 45 ACP. In Alaska, I carry a 10 mil though. And in fact, the best-selling bear defense gun, I would say, in Alaska from my research is the Glock 20 in 10mm.
It is a 10mm?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it effective, though? It's a smaller cartridge. How can it measure up a 40 measuring up to a 45? Doesn't sound right.
The reason is because everybody hates on the 7mm backcountry. The 10mm is the 7mm backcountry of handgun cartridges. It operates at a much higher PSI than the 45 ACP.
Chamber pressures are higher.
Yes, so it's 37. The 10mm is 37,000 PSI versus the 45 ACP at 21,000 PSI.
Ooh, that's a big, like 15, 17,000 PSI difference.
Big.
So you're getting much better velocity out of the 10 millimeter.
Much better velocities.
What weight bullet and what velocity?
So this one in particular is a 200-grain bullet going 1,300 feet a second. At least that's what the box says. This one is a Buffalo Bore plus P 45 ACP going, I think, 940, and it's a 255-grain bullet.
Okay, so you have a heavier bullet, you have a wider bullet. Wouldn't this do more damage than a 10?
That's hard to say, too. People complain about this, and they banter back and forth about this all the time. The 10mm, on average, does have more muzzle energy than the 45 ACP. A 45 ACP will have 350 to 450 foot-pounds of energy on target, or at the muzzle, where the 10mm is usually between 600 and 700 foot-pounds.
Okay, so that then suggests we need to think about which bullet we're using.
Yes.
Obviously, in either one of them for bears, big animal like that, you want the heaviest bullets you can get?
Yes, I would say so. And a hard cast, flat nose bullet.
That is a key, and I hear this again and again and again. The hard cast lead, this is not a soft lead, this is a whole nother animal. It performs much differently. And if you have that flat nose, you're going to get straight line penetration.
Yes.
And when you're shooting at something hard like the head of a bear coming at you,
yes,
or in the chest, wherever.
Which, if you look at that bear skull, that's a pretty sharp angle.
Ricochet. That's kind of like shooting on water, skipping rocks. You get that steep angle.
Yeah, which don't do that, by the way.
Flat nose, hard cast, heavy for caliber, driving it as fast as you can.
Yes.
Okay.
And I brought Ballistics gel today and like 6 or 8 scapulas from beef cows.
Oh, cool.
I think
do some bone as well as some.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I think we should see which ones do the best.
All right, let's go out to the range and put the 10 millimeter up against the 45 ACP and see if we can make up our minds which ones we want backing us up in bear country.
I love it.
Well, it's time to hit the ballistic gelatin. But we've got more than ballistic gelatin this time. You brought some beef scapulas.
Yes.
So we've got some bone to shoot through as well. We know we're not going to have what's exactly a grizzly bear, but this is the best we can do. The grizzlies wouldn't cooperate. So I'm going to be shooting 45 with the Buffalo hollow bore, 255 grain hard cast lead bullet, flat nose, and it's supposed to be going around 940 feet per second. Now I have a Savage 1911, full size. This is essentially roughly what they would have been issuing to soldiers back in 1911 in World War I and II, and so it's kind of a standard, been around for a long time. A lot of people think it's not the right medicine for a bear. We're going to see if we can change your mind on that one. And we're going to compete against what?
This is a 200 grain flat nose hard cast bullet, and it is going roughly 1,300 feet a second. Man, it's a stout load for a 10 mil as well. So we'll see what happens. I mean, this is kind of what you'd be expecting for. This is double tap ammunition. They make pretty good ammo. So this is the XDM 10 from Springfield. It's a pretty good gun. It's been worked on, and it's smooth and slick. It's nice. So we'll see what we do. I'm probably a worse shot than Ron in this.
You know me, lifetime of shooting handguns. And I figure if you haven't stopped your bear with 3 shots, you're probably not going to get any more.
No.
Nice
well, unless he's
have.
already on top of you.
Yeah, you might be just going like this.
And then you might shoot your buddy or you.
All right, so who wants to go first? You want to put your small hole through it first?
Yeah, I can do that.
Got the Garmin all set up to get your speed and see how close to what they advertise it's doing.
I'm so confident I only put one in the gun.
Yeah.
That's what's
Good
going
man.
on here.
Yeah, just put one in there and then I'll try one and let's just compare. What do you got to guess? Who's going to shoot through? 10 millimeter or 45? Here we go. The bear's still moving. You hit the top of the scapula, it looks like.
Did I?
You want to go check it out before we look at it?
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah, you're right on top, bud. Took a big chunk of bone off, though. Look at that.
Oh, and look, it deflected up.
But how many inches have you got going here? About 6?
6
7.
inches. And then it kind of came out.
Yeah, if they call that a 6-inch, we should probably measure it, but that's not very far.
No.
But where's the bullet? Did it skip out then?
It skipped out right there. There's an exit hole.
I'll be darned. Right out the top, huh?
Yeah. So it just goes to show, even a flat-nosed, hard-cast bullet, if you hit the wrong part of bone, it's going to deflect out.
But this is just it with a grizzly. You never know where you're going to hit. The grizzly's chasing you. Let's just move this guy over a little bit, and I'll try to put one right there.
Yep, and then I'll redo that one after you get that one done.
All right, you got 1,220 feet per second. Let's see what this guy gives us. Should be about 940.
I think you get a better shot than me. That was going 896. Oh, you hit a little low, Ron.
Did I? Oh my gosh, way low.
But you blew through that fin on that scapula.
Yeah, ooh, look at all the bone chips and stuff in here.
Look at all the lead fragments in there.
Whoa, this bullet's almost exiting, man.
I mean, you got even going through the bone. Oh, I found the bullet. It went down the bottom and hit the table.
There you go.
Look at that.
That's why they call them hard cast.
That's a hard cast bullet. So
oh my gosh, did that penetrate?
that penetrated, and there's little fragments of lead all over as it went through the bone. It is no longer a flat-tipped bullet. It is warped and decidedly obtuse, but look at the ballistics gel here. Boy. So you can kind of, I'll hold that up to the light. If you can kind of see it, went through the bone and deflected really straight down.
Yeah.
And I mean, where it exited is still probably only
2 inches farther than yours.
Yeah, well.
I wonder how far it would have gone if you hadn't
hit through bone. That's crazy to me.
Let's do a couple more.
Yeah. See what they do. You know, Ron, this is the first time I've ever shot a handgun off of a dead rest.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. See if you like it.
We'll
Lord
see how
knows I shot
here.
low. Good hit. That looked just about right.
Okay.
Yeah, you should have centered that one.
Oh, it went all the way through the ballistics gel.
Whoa, now we're talking.
Okay. So I hit it on the left edge of the target. You can see pieces of bone and meat all the way through the wound cavity as it twists through.
What?
That's cool.
Did it exit right there, or is that just a little piece of lead right there?
Yep, that's the exit hole right there.
That's a ridiculously tiny hole. That's the size of a pin.
Let's show the camera, Ron. So what ended up happening, so this first one right here, you can kind of see, that's the first 10 mil. When I hit bone, it deflected up. This one on the bottom here, is now on the top, is the 45 ACP that deflected down. And then this one in the front right here goes all the way through. You can see little pieces of meat and bone and all kinds of stuff in there. That's the 10 mm bullet.
And that's a little piece of meat that I found 5 yards beyond the target. I don't know if you blew that piece of meat all the way through the gel or if it just flew up in the air from the scapula.
Well, let's shoot it again with
crazy.
that 45 and see what we get.
Yeah.
That last one out of the 10 was 1,215 feet a second.
1215 out of your 10 millimeter.
Out of the 10 mil.
So you're going about 200 feet per second faster than I.
I think you got it. You centered it.
Right where I was supposed to hit that time. 907.
I'm going 300 feet a second faster than you, Ron. Look at that. Perfect. You just drilled a hole through it.
I was supposed to drill a hole through it. It was a
There's a beautiful hole through that
45
scapula.
caliber drill bit.
And we got all the way through the gel block on that as well. Pretty straight line penetration. I'll show the bone first. So here's the bone. I mean, this is a beef scap. It is sturdy. That's a lot of bone to get through. It perfectly drilled a hole through that. And then with this one, the 10 mil was the
one on top.
The one on top here.
And the
45 ACP was the one on the bottom.
Yeah, not this little. This was the first one you shot that went too high.
Yep.
But this was my last one. Made a bigger hole coming out a little bit than yours did.
That's crazy to me. Very similar performance. I mean,
I think we've proven the point. The 45 ACP, despite its reputation, when you put that bigger, heavier bullet in there,
it gets
hard
great penetration.
cast, you do get the penetration you need. I mean, that's reaching the vitals of a grizzly bear.
Oh, yeah.
And that hard of a bullet on the skull is going to easily penetrate.
Now, Ron, some people are going to say, yeah, but the 10mm has more foot-pounds of energy.
It doesn't matter. All the energy is for us to get the bullet to the vitals to do the damage. Then it's the bullet doing the work. And to me, 45 caliber bullet's a little bit wider. It's going to do a little more damage by touching more tissue.
Yeah.
Neither one of them is going to be expanding to really tear tissue. It's a penetration issue with a bear. And then you better hope you hit a central nervous system if you really want to stop them.
Yeah, I have like 5 more scapulas. We could line
You just want to keep shooting.
I want to keep shooting.
Let's shoot some hollow points and other things that get us in trouble. Because that's where the reputation came in.
So let's shoot 2 hollow points, 1 out of each.
Okay.
At the same scapula. Well, maybe a different scapula, but
freshen it up.
Freshen it up a little bit.
All right, call in a new cow. Bring in a new cow.
Okay, this is the jacketed hollow point. Should be going about 1150 out of the 10mm. Let's see what we can do here. I was going 1205. A little faster than I thought. That's a 180 grain bullet rather than a 200 grain bullet as well. But ooh, I centered that, Ron.
Yes, you did.
I'm proud of myself.
I am proud of you too. The grizzly bear's not so happy.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
It went all the way through it.
Wow, now we're just not proving any kind of a point. Everything goes through.
But this is also a smaller scapula and it's 16 inches, which the FBI, when they shot the 10mm, they were getting really good penetration. That's one of the reasons they liked it, because they had guys with body armor that they thought they'd have to shoot through.
That's crazy.
So this is a 10mm, or that's the 10mm. Just drilled a nice, beautiful little hole. And then if you look at the ballistics gel, it didn't open up hardly at all. That jacketed hollow point didn't open much.
Got a peculiar little bulge of action right in there.
Honestly, what I would say is that hollow point didn't hollow enough.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It just didn't do what you would think it would do.
A hollow point would do.
Break up and stuff. Yeah. Kind of surprising. All right, so the 255 grain hard cast we were shooting, we're averaging right around 900. 900. Got 907 on one and a little more than that on another one, or a little under. At any rate, it's about 30 to 40 feet per second slower than it says on the box, which isn't bad. You expect that kind of difference. Now we're going to try their similar load. This is also a plus speed, but this is their 230 grain jacketed hollow point, 950 feet per second, 461 foot-pounds of energy. Is that going to match up to your 10 millimeter? What are you betting?
I hope that it hollows out like it's supposed to.
Right where I wanted it. 949.
Wow.
Yes.
That one opened up significantly more than that 45 ACP. But it also made it all the way through.
I think we should go bear hunting.
With a 45?
Yeah. Look at the hole size difference, guys. People like to make a big bunch of noise about bigger hole, bigger hole. Come on.
Look at that. So
that's not that much bigger.
That's a 10mm, 45 ACP.
Exactly. It's just not a huge difference.
And that one didn't open up a ton, but if this one might have to hold it up to the light a little bit more, because this ballistic shell is a little more clouded. But the top one is the 10 mm, bottom was the 45 ACP.
Yeah, a little more expansion. Hold it down against your jacket once. I think it'll show a little better. A little bit lower. There you go. I can see them both. I'm seeing a little more wound channel.
Yeah.
With that 45. But
still
again,
impressive. But that was a smaller scapula as well. I think we should pile up the bone a little bit.
You want to stack them up?
I like shooting, so let's do it.
Yeah. All right, more bones.
All right. I hope I never have to do this on a bear.
You killed it.
I killed it?
Knocked it over anyway.
Well, let's go see the damage. There's
But it
one
fell
right there.
over.
Right there. I hit low.
Oh, way low. You're going to have to shoot again, then. Yeah, that one went pretty far left again. I think you might have missed the gel block. Yeah, just grazed the edge of it, and there's a piece of bullet.
Yeah, there is. Well, I suck, Ron.
Well, but what's interesting is that it stopped in the gelatin and left some bullet behind.
It did.
Hey, here's your other one.
But that's kind of where it hit, and there's a bunch of lead in there. I actually took a piece out. I think I've jerked and left, being honest with you guys. I know a YouTuber shooting himself in the foot, but
look at the bone damage.
I mess up sometimes.
Look at the bone damage you did. That first one was way down here.
Yeah.
Low, and you can just see it graze the bottom of it.
Yeah, and then the first one I hit went through right here, still got through, went through 3 scaps, and still got about 14 inches of penetration, maybe 13.
And look at the scap damage.
Which is crazy, and there's a piece of the bullet.
Plus this one. Oh, man, that's serious. That's some pretty heavy bone right there.
I think you'd be good. I think that's the long story short, is it's got some decent penetration, but if you're going through a whole lot of bone.
That's just a whole lot of bone.
That's a lot of bone. It's all you, Ron. You gotta do better than me, and it shouldn't be too hard.
Looks like went a little low and really hit some bones.
Look at all that bone and lead all stuck up in there. Bring those bones and I'll bring this. That is very impressive. His is the bottom one right here.
Bottom one?
Very bottom one.
Looks like it takes a dive and climbs back up. It's probably the way you're holding it, bending it.
Bending
All
it
right,
out.
here are the scapula. So the hole on the left, I skimmed this bony ridge right here. I just nicked it and tore a big hole there. And then right through all of that. Look at how thick that bone is, guys. I went through the length of it.
That's crazy to me.
Popped out the backside looking bad. And then this last one.
Punched just right through it. That's a pretty thick part of scapula too, though.
But that's why you want that hard cast bullet. Look what it did to the backside. Broke that big chunk of bone off of there. That's why you want that hard cast bullet, guys, with that extra mass on it, because it can plow through that stuff and not veer off or break into pieces. Just one piece and it just keeps going.
That's crazy to me.
I'm satisfied. I would not hesitate to use the 45 ACP, at least with this bullet, this particular load, this plus P. I think I would get a lightweight 45 with a little shorter barrel maybe, just because of you got to be able to put that thing in action. And if you're carrying around a full-size 1911.
Well, your gun doesn't do you any good if it's in the truck.
Yeah, yeah, you don't want to leave it in the truck, but you also don't want to leave it in the bottom of the holster when you're trying to pull it out with a long barrel, you know?
Which is why I don't ever bring my 460 anywhere.
Yeah, so I'm going to look for a short barrel lightweight 45, and I think I'll do more than well enough with that bullet, even if my velocity is only down around 850 or 800.
Oh, yeah.
Just from what we're seeing here, I don't have to penetrate that far. In
16 inches and through a half inch of bone?
Yeah.
I think you're doing okay.
Okay. The only thing we didn't factor in was some of the meat before the bone and the hide on the grizzly. That's always going to have a little bit of a slowdown to it, but I think we're in business.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Well, no, let's not do it. I don't want to shoot. I don't want to have to shoot a bear.
Hey guys, if you're interested in something for bears, and I think you can use some of this information to help make up your minds, 10 millimeter, 45, I think you're going to be okay with either one of them.
Oh yeah, I think you'd be good.
Find something that you'll carry with you and depend on it. Use those hard cast bullets.
Yep, I would agree.
All right, hunt on it, shoot straight, and stay away from the bears.
Decent penetration, but if you're going through a whole lot of bone, that's just a whole lot of bone. That's a lot of bone.